Hey guys, so something I just figured out to increase my Overwatch performance because I was having a lot of trouble. I have a GTX 1080 Ti, a hybrid with a hybrid kit. My thermals stay under 50 degrees C, and for some reason, I'm still struggling to stay. Like I'm dipping under 100 frames per second on low settings. And this is driving me crazy because I have an Alienware with an i7 6700, not a K, 16 gigs of RAM. I'm running it in dual channel now. It used to be running single channel, which made it even worse. So also, if you're running single channel RAM, definitely go dual channel. You're going to get 40 to 50 FPS gain just from that right there. But my most recent tweak I found, and this practically solved my problem, is there's a thing called HPET. It's the High Precision Event Timer. And by disabling HPET, uh, I am now never going below 100 frames per second. I'm getting close to 200 on low, 120 to 160 on epic settings. Um, so it has been suggested that you should disable HPET in the BIOS. However, if you're an Alienware user or a Dell user, it's probably not in your BIOS. I couldn't find it, so I went to the device manager and I went to system devices and scrolled down and found a high precision event timer. You can see, right? Oh, there's a high precision event timer. Um, and I disabled it in here just by right clicking on it and hitting disable. It's already disabled, so mine says enable. But do that. See how if it affects your performance. If it doesn't, you can go back into the device manager and re-enable it. It's a lot safer than messing around with your BIOS. But I did that, and now I'm never dropping below 100 frames per second, which shouldn't happen with my PC build. Um, and yeah, give that a run, see how that works out for you. Uh, Another thing I want to talk about in this video is a lot of people are saying, why am I getting such low GPU usage while playing Overwatch? I have the exact same problem, and I've messed around a lot with this. Um, and the best solution that I can come up with, I'll let you know the volume on this crap. You want to hold Control Shift N, right? And then you get these lines that show up on your screen. And you want to look at the sim number, which is the white numbers at the top left-hand corner. Well, that's your input lag. The lower the numbers, the better. It's measured in milliseconds. So right now you can see I'm getting 5.7 milliseconds of input lag, and I'm getting about 120 frames per second. My video settings, oh, and look at my GPU usage. My GPU usage right now is at 100%. And how did I get my GPU usage at 100%? Well, I'm running on epic settings. I know I didn't. A restart is required to apply some of the settings because I was on low settings before, and my render scale is at 122%. People that want the lowest milliseconds input lag possible, they like to go down to 50% render scale, drop this to low, and that works. But look what happens to my GPU usage. It drops, which is measured by, and those in the right-hand corner, those four boxes, the bottom right corner is my GPU usage. And now my sim numbers, I'm at 4.3 milliseconds of input lag, so about a second and a half lower than before, or 1.5 milliseconds lower, sorry, not seconds. Actually, no, this isn't even 50% render scale. It auto-adjusted. This is probably 122% render scale on low. Alright, also your frames will go up once you're not in the menu. Even holding Control-Shift-N will lower your frame rate. Or holding Tab in game, or when you die, those all cause frame rate dips. Watch what happens. So probably auto. Yeah, it did it auto. So let's go to 50%. Now we're at 50% render scale. First of all, notice how blurry everything looks. It looks horrible. If you don't play like this, you can. And then look at my sim numbers. 4.3. I mean, it's 5.2 right now. Look at my GPU usage. My GPU usage is around, I don't even know, 30%? 18%. It's just terrible. 18%, and my input lag is not that much lower. So, I mean, you can obsess with lowering your settings as much as possible to get the lowest input lag, but when you see that your GPU is only using 34% of its power, don't be surprised, because your GPU can't really do much when it's only being asked to render things at the lowest scale possible. So what I like to do is I like to find that middle ground. Once again, hold Control Shift N, monitor those sim numbers, and then just start playing around with things in your video settings. Personally, for me, the best that I have found is I do the automatic at 122%, because that's what Blizzard thinks I should use, on all low settings. You know, of course, the obverse reduce buffering on, VSync off. And here I get 4.6 milliseconds of input lag, 4.4, roughly, like, only a little bit higher than when I'm low settings with a 50% render scale. And look at my GPU, 65%, 72%. I'm actually making use of my graphics card. I mean, even if I didn't even up the render scale. So for you, those of you that are having low GPU problems, and you don't want to increase the graphics quality, you can change the render scale to force it to use more of the graphics card. Now at 150% render scale. Still getting 4.7 milliseconds of input lag. That's still under 5. Always spikes to 5 under load. There's 5 right there. And my GPU usage is at 73. Over time, change the render scale to 200. Getting a mild FPS dip. Now my sim numbers are at 6.2 to 6.7, so about 1 millisecond higher. But look at that GPU usage, 100%. So there's nothing wrong with your computer if your GPU is not using its full potential on low settings. It just doesn't know what to do. It's like, oh, we've already used as much power as is necessary to produce your low, shitty graphic settings. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just gonna only run at 35%. Anyways, that's the video. You gotta make a decision based on, you want to make the full use of your graphics card, then you gotta crank up the settings at the cost of input lag. If you want the best input lag possible, lower the settings, but don't be surprised when your GPU is at below what you expect. Right here, this is Epic settings at 122% render scale. Getting 4.5, 4.7, 5, 4.9. It's not bad. GPU's at 87%. Notice when I take off Control Shift N, my frame rates go way up. For some reason, Overwatch doesn't like to have menus open. Getting 100, and this is the practice range. Whenever you go to an online match, your frame rates will be significantly lower, which most of you probably already know. Anyways, hope you found the video helpful. These are the things that helped me, and yeah, happy gaming.